In LA this week,
Find this on our beaches really was an assault.
Literally a ton of medical waste and personal hygiene products washing ashore on these beaches after a recent storm. And now one city councilman wants to get to the bottom of what happened before stronger El Nino rains arrive. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anita Bennett on the set of American Horror Story Hotel, which was lured back to Los Angeles through tax credits. Coming up, I'll explain how the city of LA and residents are benefiting from this one show to the tune of $55 million.
I'm Anna Marcos. A report card on Councilmember David Rue's first 100 days. We'll have that and more in the first part of a special report coming up.
hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Our top story, a medical waste spill at a popular beach. LA City Councilman Mike Bonin wants investigators to finally release their findings weeks after it happened. Gil Reyes reports from Playa del Rey.
The debris discovered at Dockweiler State Beach and other parts of the Santa Monica Bay horrified environmentalists who thought they'd seen it all. A tide of condoms, tampon casings, and similar waste washing ashore in September, closing the beach for several days.
We'd not seen this in the numerous cleanups that we've done at Heal the Bay for over 20 years. So to find this on our beaches really was an assault. Now we are hearing that there was over a ton of plastic picked up.
That upgrade to literally a ton of medical waste and personal hygiene products washing ashore on these beaches comes as the Department of Sanitation still has no official explanation as to what caused the discharge on September 23rd. LA City Councilman Mike Bonin is calling on the agency to release its findings, whatever it has available, within 2 weeks.
Because we have some very heavy rains coming or projected with the El Nino storms, and we need to know if this was an isolated or an unfortunate incident, or if this is something that we could be at risk of happening again.
LA Sanitation's current theory is that September's rain dislodged 10-year-old debris trapped inside a mile-long pipe under the ocean. The pipe being used as a substitute while the main pipe is repaired. The pipes are owned by the city's Hyperion Reclamation Plant, which treats sewage water. That's right, water from our toilets before releasing it to the sea.
Hyperion can take this moment to also teach the public about what is acceptable to flush down the toilets and what is not.
Whether or not people's flushing habits are to blame, a reminder that condoms, Q-tips, dental floss, and similar solids should never be flushed down the toilet. This could clog sewer lines working overtime during heavy rain.
We need to be investigating whether or not that activity is ongoing on a regular basis.
If it is, it needs to stop, especially with El Nino monster rains expected soon. At Dockweiler State Beach, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Councilman Bonin is also working on a Bay emergency response team aimed at immediately alerting the public of ocean spills and beach closures. Well, city leaders are putting Hollywood nightclubs on notice. As Anita Bennett reports, several clubs have been cited for noise and drinking violations.
This busy stretch of Hollywood Boulevard is known for its nightlife, but city leaders say too often that clubbing is mixed in with underage drinking and violence.
Issues like hazardous structural conditions, over-service of alcohol to already intoxicated individuals, underage drinking, overcrowding, noise violations, clubs operating after hours, clubs operating in violation of their alcohol licenses.
The operators, the vast majority of them do abide by their CUP very scrupulously, and they're very careful about it. But we have had some recent neighborhood complaints about noise and so forth.
According to Councilman O'Farrell, a club called Kashmir, now known as The Day After, has been cited 18 times.
This is in addition to several assault and criminal allegations separately filed by the LAPD. Tragically, on August 22nd, a 20-year-old man who was working as a DJ at Kashmir died while at the club under very murky circumstances. And yet, Kashmir was open for business the very next day.
The city has vowed to bring rogue clubs into compliance or they face being shut down. I'm Anita Bennett for LA This Week.
Halloween is the busiest night of the year for the LAPD's Hollywood division, and since it falls on a Saturday night, the department will have more than 300 officers on duty. Well, he's one of the two newest members of the LA City Council, and he is the youngest. Councilmember David Rue marks his first 100 days in office at an event in the Valley. Anna Marcos fills us in on what he's accomplished so far in this first segment of a two-part special report.
Ron and Ethel Ziff have enjoyed peaceful walks in their neighborhood for 52 years until now. They're seeing more and more so-called McMansions sprouting up on their quiet streets.
This one you're looking at is about 5,400 square feet.
But you're saying there's one that's 9,000 square feet.
Yes, that's around the corner.
I just feel closed in.
But someone at City Hall is listening. New council member for the 4th District, David Rue. Rue is holding this event in Sherman Oaks to celebrate his first 100 days in office with a ceremonial swearing in.
I, David Rue, do solemnly swear.
But just a week or two after his election this summer, Rue had already taken action with an ordinance to stop mansionization in Sherman Oaks, the practice of building oversized houses on smaller lots.
I made a pledge to you to put our residents in our neighborhoods first and to be that strong voice for change. And that's exactly what I've done in my first 100 days in office.
Rue has given himself a report card on his first 100 days. And although there are no grades given here, there is a checklist of 6 major areas, including public safety, community involvement, preserving neighborhoods, and fiscal accountability. Rue has been so active, all 6 areas are checked off.
He strikes me as that kind of person who wants to improve things.
In the first 100 days, what grade would you give him?
I'm not prepared for that. I don't know.
Rue, on the other hand, appears very prepared to tackle the big issues, among them fiscal responsibility and regaining the public's trust in government. Rue has become one of the first LA Council members to open up his books to the public.
In my discretionary funds, I made a pledge and a commitment to share with everyone what's there, how much is there, what it's being used for, but more importantly, to go above and beyond and get community input on how those funds should be spent.
It's in charge of a large area, a lot of different communities.
Rue's Council 4 district covers places from Sherman Oaks to Hollywood to Miracle Mile and Hancock Park. It's a diverse district with a lot of different needs.
The overwhelming non-Asian 4th Council District last May decided to elect our first Korean American city council member ever.
Being a community advocate was what everybody was looking for, and my message and what I was trying to accomplish resonated with the voters, and I believe they voted for me because I was the most qualified to deliver, and not based on my ethnicity.
Rue, a veteran of county government, has done a lot of work with the homeless and with mental health, another of his core issues.
Mental health is a big component of the homelessness problem, and so I look forward to borrowing David's expertise in that regard in fashioning solutions.
But whatever he chooses to work on next, Rue has already proven he wants to change city government and make it more people-friendly and livable for all residents. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
By the way, that anti-mansionization ordinance for Sherman Oaks will be voted on in City Council this month. And stay tuned for the second part of the special report as we find out Rue's plans for guiding LA's future. While earthquake upgrades are expected to cause a shakeup at LA high-rises and apartment buildings, as Gil Reyes reports, city leaders approve sweeping seismic retrofits in preparation for the big one.
It's the largest earthquake retrofit plan in U.S. history. Some 15,000 L.A. area buildings slated for upgrades. The mayor's signature makes it official.
Will we be prepared? I think the answer is going to be a resounding yes.
It's going to make such a huge, incredible difference.
Dr. Lucy Jones, the city's official earthquake advisor, thanks elected leaders for making the deal. Around 1,000 concrete buildings dotting LA's major boulevards will undergo mandatory seismic retrofits. Owners have 25 years to comply. In addition, more than 13,000 wood frame structures face a 7-year deadline for compliance. Wood frame or soft story buildings typically have weak supports, garages, and housing units stacked on top. Prime example, the Northridge Meadow Apartments, which collapsed in the '94 quake, killing 16 people. Officials are focused on preventing similar tragedies.
We need to make sure that every aspect that we can predict, that we take care of, and that we do the work in advance so that we don't have the disaster, the scale that we might otherwise have.
We cannot afford complacency. Complacency risks lives, complacency risks our neighbors, complacency risks our economy. And we refuse to be complacent.
But still being debated, who will pay for these upgrades? The city's housing department recommending a 50-50 split between property owners and tenants. Local leaders are weighing their options. In Van Nuys, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The LA Department of Building and Safety will start issuing courtesy letters to apartment building owners in a few weeks. While state tax credits adopted last year to stop runaway production have already created thousands of jobs. Anita Bennett takes a look at how the city of Los Angeles and local families are benefiting.
As production workers start their day at Fox Studios in West LA, Mayor Eric Garcetti is visiting the lot to explain how expanded tax credits for film and TV productions have been a boon for local workers and the state economy.
So far, between the film and the television, we're at $1.05 billion of productions that wouldn't be here in the first year, the first 2 rounds, not even a year.
Among the shows taking advantage of those tax credits, American Horror Story Hotel. The FX series previously filmed in Louisiana, but now it shoots here on Stage 16. At a news conference on the show's set, a Fox executive said in just a few months, this one series has pumped millions of dollars into the local economy.
A 1-hour drama like American Horror Story is a high economic impact production. And it's a job and revenue creator and generator. The particular production alone will spend, as you said, $55 million and probably more. And that's over a 7-month period of time.
American Horror Story Hotel employs more than 200 production workers, and state leaders say by keeping those workers here, well, their families are benefiting as well.
Our focus was to bring jobs back to California. Our focus was reuniting families that were split because the breadwinner in the film industry and the TV industry had to go to other states and work many months on out, in some cases 9 months, 10 months, 12 months.
So far, 22 projects have qualified for the expanded tax credits. And according to Mayor Garcetti, American Horror Story Hotel is a prime example of the program's success. In West Los Angeles, I'm Anita Bennett for LA This Week.
Other shows that have qualified for the tax credits include Twin Peaks and the political comedy Veep, which recently relocated its production from Maryland to Los Angeles. And local TV production isn't the only industry boosting our local economy. Other business leaders in the city showed us their blueprint for a more robust LA economy during the annual Access LA City Hall event. Anna Marcos has more.
200 business leaders have taken over the reins at City Hall for a day, setting the agenda for a more business-friendly city at this Access LA City Hall event. One thing both sides agree on, they want to get business booming in the City of Angels and create more jobs.
It's incumbent upon us now to see what industries are growing and get them here.
We're going to encourage the members of the City Council to make jobs and helping existing businesses and attracting new businesses. We want that to be the #1 priority.
Business leaders are also pushing for continued investment in LAX and the Port of Los Angeles, educating the workforce of the future, creating more housing, and ending homelessness are also tops on the list, as is reducing LA's gross receipts tax. LA has lowered the tax by 16%, but many feel it's not enough.
The City of Los Angeles has some of the highest gross receipts taxes in the region, and it discourages investments in Los Angeles.
We badly need to see that gross receipts tax either reduced to the lowest level or completely eliminated to stay competitive.
Garcetti says since he came into office, the city has grown by 86,000 jobs, while unemployment has dropped by 3%. TV and film production are up, and LA County now has the highest number of high-tech companies in the nation. But there's still a lot more to do.
A lot of the times, it's the big businesses who stay in business, and the smaller businesses don't have an opportunity to grow. And I I'd like to see a change in that.
Bureaucracy. We really need to break down the walls of City Hall and make it easier to do business.
It used to take a year and a half to open the average restaurant. Now it takes about half that, which is great that we've improved, but there are some other cities that do in less than 3 months.
And there is still uncertainty for many businesses over the city's new minimum wage hike set to start next summer.
There will be some segments in the service and industry sector that may not be able to have as many employees or not have them work as many hours. So time will tell.
And time will tell whether LA can find the right balance between job growth and a healthy working climate for both businesses and their workers. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
City Controller Ron Galperin and his office are now developing a website that will provide regular updates and details on LA's economy. While President Barack Obama has declared October National Energy Action Month as the staff releases a new report on climate change and our energy needs. Anna Marcos has more on LA's response, a resilient solar pilot project, which could mean the difference between life or death during big weather emergencies.
Recent weather disasters have some thinking the Armageddon of climate change is upon us. Fires in Northern California that raged for almost a month. Killer flash floods in Utah. More floods that left South Carolina underwater. And it's not over. Some say LA is about to get walloped by Godzilla.
It's getting scary. And here in Los Angeles, after years of crippling drought, we're expecting an El Nino that's been nicknamed Godzilla for how bad we expected. The days of safe, predictable, reliable weather are past. We're moving into an uncertain future where we need to be ready for anything.
And city leaders are getting weather ready. They're starting with the energy we rely on. Their latest weapon against weather mayhem, the Resilient Solar Pilot Project.
That means when the power goes out and conventional systems, solar systems shut down, these resilient solar systems can keep going.
Soon, one of LA's fire stations will try out the new Resilient Solar Pilot System, which will provide crucial solar power without having to rely on the electrical grid if power goes out during a weather disaster.
Think about if we lose power and we get a call. In the middle of the night, we're not going to have any lights. We're going to have to figure out how to open these doors. And if we have to refuel our rig, we can't do it because we don't have power.
U.S. Department of Energy Secretary Ralph Moniz joined city leaders to stress the importance of bringing our energy systems into the 21st century.
We have often an aging infrastructure. We have an inadequate infrastructure in many parts of the country.
But in L.A., energy production, especially in times of disaster, is about to take a leap into the future. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Now, the Obama administration has released a report called Climate Change and the U.S. Energy Sector. It provides a blueprint for what we must do to prepare for climate change and our changing energy needs. And California is taking bold action to address our changing climate and energy needs as a landmark climate bill is signed into law. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti expands on his Save the Drop campaign, and a new sidewalk improves safety at a senior center. All these stories in CityBeat. Mayor Eric Garcetti launched the second phase of the Save the Drop water conservation campaign, urging Angelenos to capture the drop should an expected El Nino deliver heavier than usual rainfall in the coming months. It's estimated that an El Nino winter will produce billions of gallons of stormwater runoff. The new phase includes an expanded Save the Drop LA website featuring a calculator for Angelenos to measure their water usage, additional tips, and rebate information. The mayor said that LA is leading the way in water conservation, and a big part is taking advantage of every opportunity to save water. Mayor Garcetti also joined government, business, environmental, and community leaders at the Griffith Observatory as Governor Jerry Brown signed into law Senate Bill 350. Considered landmark legislation, SB 350 bolsters California's commitment to energy efficiency and renewable energy. SB 350 requires the state to generate half of its electricity from renewable energy sources and double energy efficiency in all buildings by 2030.
With SB 350, California is building on an incredible legacy of being environmental leaders, not waiting for action, but taking action.
A brand new sidewalk now welcomes community members to the Lincoln Heights Senior Center. Councilmember Gil Cedillo recently unveiled a new and improved sidewalk. The repairs came after community members complained that the buckled sidewalk and cracks in the cement were dangerous and prevented safe access to the center.
They fixed it pretty good so we can come in and out.
People who come with walkers or canes, wheelchairs, can now come and access the services and the resources of this senior center as well as any other person.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's game plan to tackle illegal dumping includes a dedicated group of civic-minded volunteers. As Gil Reyes reports, enforcement is expected to be very local.
Organizing events like community cleanups, LA's neighborhood councils are as local as you can get in improving streets and shaping policies. Members know the problems in their neighborhoods because they live and work there every day.
Members and committee members need to know about ethics, about how to lobby if you're working with the city.
At their yearly Congress of Neighborhood Councils at City Hall, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti introduces a way to battle the problem of illegal dumping. His Clean Streets plan calls for each neighborhood council to assign block captains. They'll be in charge of spotting and reporting problems, one captain for every city block.
To be able to be vigilant and just take on a small chunk of the territory you represent. Report illegal dumping or bulky items to our strike team, and then we're also asking you to participate in at least 3 cleanups a year, which is nothing. Every 4 months, come out one afternoon, one morning, and help us clean up.
The initiative patterned after Garcetti's graffiti removal program, which he launched as a councilman. Garcetti says block captains helped reduce tagging in parts of his former district by 80%. Along with block captains, Garcetti also wants team captains in every neighborhood.
Team captains will be the eyes and ears on the ground, organizing some of those cleanups, making sure that sidewalks in the area remain clear, and recruiting other members of the Clean Streets team so that we can build those numbers up and up and up.
A problem the mayor and all 95 volunteer neighborhood councils could soon be tackling block by city block. At City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The mayor says illegal dumping happens all over the city, with the highest pockets traditionally in South and Northeast Los Angeles. Well, the Metro Expo La Brea rail station was renamed in honor of the late Ethel Bradley, former LA Mayor Tom Bradley's wife, and the city's longest reigning First Lady. She was credited with inspiring black women to improve their social, educational, and economic status. That's the focus of This Week in Tweets. LA County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas, who was in attendance, tweeted, "I'm honored to dedicate Expo La Brea at Metro Los Angeles Station to Ethel Bradley, a woman of exquisite style and grace." Ridley's communication deputy posted Supervisor Thomas with Phyllis and Ethel Bradley at the Metro Los Angeles Station, named after their mother. In another post, she tweeted, "Phyllis and Lorraine express gratitude for Metro Los Angeles dedication of Ethel Bradley Expo La Brea Station." And the mayor's office wrote, "Honored LA history, dedicating Expo La Brea Station in the name of our city's longest-serving First Lady, Ethel Bradley." And that's a look at This Week in Tweets. Well, experts on LA history know all about the famous pobladores who founded Los Angeles in 1781. But as Gil Reyes reports, their little-known descendants lace up their sneakers every year to carry on a proud tradition on the city's birthday.
With beating drums and colorful costumes, descendants of the city's founding fathers make the traditional 9-mile journey every year, just as their ancestors did 234 years ago.
And you look around, there's buildings, but if you could just take a moment and reflect that it wasn't here and it was very important to them, and they started their lives to make Los Angeles what it is today. And we don't want to be forgotten.
Jerry Anopa Garcia says she's a descendant of the Quintero family, one of the 11 founding families of the city of Los Angeles. In 1781, this group of pobladores walked from the San Gabriel Mission to what's now known as downtown's Olvera Street. Here, they established El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles, or Los Angeles. This walk, a recreation of that original journey.
This event has always been a great opportunity to honor Los Angeles' original founders and to acknowledge the contributions of generations of people from all cultural and ethnic backgrounds.
Thomas Mendez traces his lineage to another founding family, Los Morenos. He's also related to 2 soldiers who accompanied the settlers on the original walk.
Which is very unique, and we proved that through our DNA testing as well. And then 2 military escorts, which was Lugo and Coda.
Stephen DeBoer, also a descendant of the soldiers, brought along his son Benjamin.
We're always, teaching him about, his family and his history, and to try and pass it on to the next generation. So.
In hopes of carrying on a proud tradition every year. On Alvera Street, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The entire walk takes about 3 hours. Since 1981, it's taken place every year around the time of the city's birthday. While the LA Zoo gets visitors into the Hollywood spirit, get in touch with your artistic side with a drawing event and the dead come alive at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. All this in this week's Things to Do. It's that time again for ghosts, goblins, and everything spooky. The all-new Boo at the LA Zoo offers Halloween fun throughout October. Visitors wandering through the spooky surroundings can expect to unearth shocking facts about animals, superpowers such as heightened senses that help them survive in their environments. Get frightened with a new graveyard safari hail bale maze stocked with tombstones and silhouette cutouts of skunks, possums, raccoons, and other creatures that inhabit backyards in the dead of the night. There's also a boneyard education station, animal skeletons, and skulls. The festivities go on until October 31st. The LA Zoo is located at 5333 Zoo Drive. For more information, visit lazoo.org. The Big Draw LA is a movement that's part of a worldwide month-long festival designed to provide opportunities for people of all ages to discover or return to the pleasure of drawing. The fest features events spread across the month as well as free events every weekend around the city. On Saturday, October 24th, design your own zine. All you need to bring is an idea, a subject that you're passionate about, a story you want to tell, or even just the kind of doodling you enjoy. You'll design a front and back cover for a zine, and while the screens are being prepared, create the content that will go in between them. The fun takes place at 3 p.m. at the Pop Hop Books and Print at 5002 York Boulevard in North Highland Park. For more, visit thebigdrawla.org. Hollywood Forever Cemetery brings to life the largest Day of the Dead celebration in California during its 16th annual Dia de los Muertos festival. The cemetery grounds are covered with art exhibitions, dance rituals, musical performances, children's arts and crafts projects, and food vendors aplenty. You'll see altars to dead created by community artists. You can either watch or participate in the skeleton costume contest. It's sure to be a spectacular display, as always. Join the spooky fun at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, located at 6000 Santa Monica Boulevard. For tickets, visit ladayofthedead.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybeview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.